Lirath stood on the observation deck of the Concorde transport ship and looked at the blue-green planet below, called Kalis 4. His skin glowed soft silver, which meant calm peace in the old Valori way. He had served as envoy for 300 cycles, always seeking words before weapons, always finding paths around war. The Valori believed every conflict had a root that could be understood and pulled out gently like a weed from soil. Now the Concorde needed him here because the Carvox swarm had come. The Carvox were not like other species. They did not talk, they consumed. They had taken 3 border worlds already and left nothing but empty rock and silence. The Concorde Council had voted to call the newest members for help. They called the humans. Lirath had read the files about humans many times. Short lives, quick tempers, love for tools that break things fast. Reports said they refused ritual surrender, even when defeated. Was clear. They kept fighting until nothing moved anymore. Lirath thought this strange and wasteful. He believed the Carvox could be reasoned with if someone found the right gesture or offer. The transport landed with a soft bump on the main base pad. Dust rose around the ship in red clouds. Lirath stepped out first, because custom demanded the envoy greet the defenders. A line of soldiers waited in dark armor. Most were human. One stepped forward tall, with short black hair and scars across her left cheek. She wore captain marks on her shoulders. Her name was Mara Voss, according to the briefing. She held out her hand in the human style. Lirath took it carefully, because their grip could crush, if not controlled. "Welcome to Kalis 4, she said in a low voice. "We do not bow here. We break things until the other side does." Her words carried no anger, just plain fact. Lirath's skin flickered pale blue for a moment which meant unease. He forced it back to silver. "I come to serve as liaison," he said, in the smooth Valori tone. "My people hope to find understanding, even with the Carvox." Mara looked at him for a long second. "Good luck with that, Shiny," she answered. Then she turned and walked toward the command bunker. Lirath followed, with the rest of the mixed unit behind him. The base looked rough compared to Concorde halls. Walls were thick plasteel, patched with hasty welds. Crates stood everywhere, filled with ammunition and medical kits. Humans moved fast between them, always carrying something heavy. Valori helpers carried datapads and tried to stay out of the way. Inside the bunker, lights were dim to save power. Maps glowed on screens, showing red lines where the Carvox had pushed forward. Mara pointed at one cluster near the eastern ridge. "They will hit here in 2 days," she said. "Them Chiton warriors, acid spitters, burrowers, the full nightmare." Lirath studied the map. "Have terms been offered?" he asked. Mara gave a short laugh, without humor. "We tried once on the last world. They ate the messenger drone and all. No terms, no talk, just hunger." Lirath felt his skin shift to light violet, which showed growing worry. He had mediated with angry species before, with prideful ones, with fearful ones, never with something that refused speech. "What is your plan then?" he asked. Mara tapped the screen to zoom in. "We dig in deep, make kill zones overlap, fire lanes, use every trick we know. If they break through, we fall back to secondary lines and do it again. We hold until the fleet arrives, or until nothing walks anymore." Lirath looked at her face. She showed no fear, only focus. He wondered how a species so young could face such odds without despair. His own people would have sent more envoys, offered more terms. Tribute begged for time. Humans planned to fight. A young soldier came up private rank, fresh face, still smooth. "Captain, the charges are set on the ridge," he reported. Mara nodded. "Good work, Torres. Keep the demo teams ready." The private glanced at Lirath with curiosity. "Is he really going to talk to the bugs, sir?" Mara shrugged. "He can try if he wants, but when the shooting starts, stay behind cover, Shiny." Lirath's skin pulsed brighter violet. "I will observe and learn," he said. Perhaps my presence will change something. Torres grinned. Sure thing, Shiny. Just don't glow too bright. The bugs hate bright things. He walked away laughing with another soldier. Lyrax stood silent. He did not like the nickname Shiny, but he understood it came from his glowing skin. Mara looked at him again. You ever seen real combat? She asked. Lyrath shook his head. I have seen aftermath. Fighting stopped. Then this will be new for you. She paused. Listen to me now. We fight dirty, fast and mean because that is how we survive. If you freeze when it starts, find a hole and stay in it. Lyrath wanted to argue that peace needed courage too, but her eyes stopped him. They were gray, like storm clouds, and very tired. He nodded instead. I will do my best, Captain. She clapped him on the shoulder, not gentle but not cruel. Get some rest, Shiny. Tomorrow we start the real work. Lyrath walked to his assigned quarters. The room was small with a narrow bunk and one light. He sat on the edge and let his skin fade back to silver. Outside he heard humans talk and laugh. Someone played music, low and rough, drums and strings in a rhythm that pushed forward. It sounded like challenge. Lyrath closed his eyes. He thought of home, where gardens bloomed under soft moons, and disputes ended with shared. Here, the air smelled of metal and oil. Here people prepared to kill. He felt small and far from everything known. Yet something stirred inside him, a tiny spark of curiosity. He wondered what it felt like to stand against the swarm and not run. He wondered if the humans knew something his people had forgotten long ago. Outside the base, sirens tested once, short and sharp. Lyrath's skin flickered pale blue again. He lay down on the bunk. Sleep came slow. Dreams came slower. In them he saw waves of chitin rush over hills. He saw humans stand firm. He saw himself among them, holding a weapon he did not yet understand. The dream did not frighten him as much as it should have. When morning came, he rose and dressed in the simple tunic given to him. He stepped outside into red dust and sharp light. Mara waited near the main trench line. She handed him a small sidearm. Said, You don't have to use it, but carry it. Lyrath took the weapon. It felt heavy and cold. He clipped it to his belt. Thank you, Captain. She nodded. Now come learn how humans dig in. They walked together toward the front lines. Workers used machines to carve deep channels in the rock. Others placed sensors and mines. Lyrath watched everything. He asked questions. Why this shape of trench? Why these angles for guns? Why leave gaps here but not there? Mara answered each one, plain and direct. She never mocked him. She treated him like a new recruit who needed facts. Hours passed. Lyrath's skin stayed mostly silver. Sometimes it went pale blue when a loud blast echoed. But he did not stop asking. By afternoon he helped carry crates. His long arms surprised the humans. They joked about it. Shiny got reached like a crane. Arrival. The work felt good. It felt real. Night fell fast on Kalis 4. Stars came out bright and cold. Lyrath stood on a ridge with Mara. They looked toward the dark horizon where the Karvoks waited. Tomorrow, she said, quiet. Tomorrow they come. Lyrath felt his skin shift to steady violet. Not panic, but awareness. I will stand with you, he said. Mara looked at him. We will see, Shiny. We will see. She walked away. Lyrath stayed. He looked at the stars. He thought of the old Valori saying, Peace hides in every heart until battle finds it. For the first time he wondered if battle could also hide something in peace. He touched the sidearm at his belt. It no longer felt so strange. He turned back to the base. Tomorrow waited, and for the first time in 300 cycles, Lyrath felt ready to meet it. The alarms screamed across the base at dawn, sharp and angry. Lyrath woke instantly, his skin flashing bright violet with sudden fear. He grabbed the sidearm from the table and ran outside. Red dust swirled in the wind. Humans moved like machines, already in position. They checked weapons, loaded fresh magazines, spoke quick words to each other. Mara stood on the main trench wall, looking through binoculars toward the eastern ridge. She saw Lirath coming and waved him over. "They are early," she said, calm as stone. "Scouts say the first wave is already on the move." Lirath climbed up beside her, his long legs making it easy. He looked out. The horizon looked normal at first, just low hills and dry plains. Then he saw movement. Dark shapes poured over the far rise, like oil spreading. Thousands at first, then tens of thousands. Chitin gleamed black under the rising sun. The Karvoks came fast, clicking legs, scratching the ground. Acid spitters rode on the backs of bigger warriors, dripping green slime. Burrowers pushed mounds of dirt ahead, like living drills. Lirath's skin pulsed violet so hard, it hurt. "How many?" he asked, voice low. Mara lowered the binoculars. "Enough to make us remember why we train," she said. She keyed her comm. "All units hold fire until my mark. Let them come into the kill box." Lirath watched the swarm advance. They moved as one mind. No shouts, no orders, just endless hunger. He felt small against that tide. A human sergeant nearby laughed rough. "Look at them bugs, think they own the place already." Another soldier answered, "Yeah, well, we got a surprise party planned." They laughed again, dark and short. Lirath did not understand the laughter. His people never laughed before battle. They sang soft songs of hope instead. Here, laughter sounded like a weapon. First, Karvoks reached the outer markers, 2 kilometers out. Mara raised her hand. "Wait." The swarm kept coming closer, closer. Lirath's heart beat fast. His bioluminescence flickered wild. "Now," Mara said, quiet. Explosives along the ridge went off in a long, rolling thunder. Columns of dirt and rock shot into the sky. Hundreds of Karvoks flew apart, legs and shells raining down. The humans cheered, loud and fierce. More charges followed, mines buried deep in patterns. The ground opened under the swarm, swallowing whole squads. Acid spitters tried to spray, but the wind carried most back onto their own kind. Screeches rose high and thin. Lirath covered his ears. The sound cut deep. Mara shouted over the noise. "Gunners, open up." Machine guns roared from every trench. Heavy cannons boomed. Tracers drew red lines across the plain, stitching through chitin. Karvoks fell by the hundreds, bodies piling up, making new walls of dead. Still they came. They climbed over their own dead, kept pushing. Lirath saw a human fire team on the left flank. 3 soldiers, 1 heavy gunner, 2 riflemen. They poured fire steady and sure. A burrowing Karvoks erupted right under them. Acid splashed the gunner, legs gone in a second. He screamed once, then grabbed his weapon, dragged himself back, kept firing. Blood poured from the stumps. His friends pulled him down, pulled him to cover. Another took his place, never stopped shooting. Lirath stared. The wounded man laughed through pain. "Come on, you ugly bastards, is that all you got?" Lirath's skin went dark violet, almost black with horror. He had never seen pain used like fuel. Humans did not break, they burned hotter. Mara grabbed his arm. "Stay focused, Shiny. Watch the gaps. If they push through there, we lose the line." Lirath nodded, tried to focus. Reached the first trench line. Karvoks warriors leaped down, claws slashing. Humans met them hand to hand. Knives flashed, bayonets stabbed. One soldier took a claw through the chest, lifted off his feet. He fired his pistol into the thing mouth until it dropped him. Then he lay still. His squad dragged the body back, kept fighting. Lirath felt sick. This was not mediation, this was slaughter. Yet the humans held. They fell back meter by meter, always shooting, always killing. They lured the enemy into narrow channels where grenades rained down. Flamethrowers opened up, turning chitin to ash. The smell of burned shell and blood filled the air, thick and wrong. Lirath stayed low in the trench beside Mara. She fired short, controlled bursts, never wasted a shot. When her magazine ran dry, she swapped it fast, smooth. She looked at him. "You still think we can talk to them?" Lirath shook his head. Slow. "No." His voice sounded strange even to him. Mara nodded once. Good. Learn fast, Shiny, because they do not stop. A new wave came, acid spitters high on the ridge. They sprayed green streams that hissed on contact. Armor melted, skin burned. A human soldier took a full burst across the chest. He fell screaming, flesh bubbling. Medics rushed in, dragged him away. Another took his place. The line held. Lyrath watched it all. His mind spun. He had studied war in old texts, seen images of battles long past. Those were clean lines, arrows on maps. This was chaos, blood, noise, terror. And yet the humans moved through it like water through stone. They adapted, they laughed, they kept going. A Karvox warrior broke through, leaped into their trench. It towered over them, mandibles wide. Mara rolled, fired point blank into its face. Chitin cracked, green ichor sprayed. Staggered. Lyrath acted without thought. He raised the sidearm, aimed at the joint where leg met body. He pulled the trigger. The shot cracked loud. The leg buckled. The Karvox fell. Mara finished it with a burst to the head. She looked at Lyrath. Nice shot. Lyrath stared at his hand. The weapon felt warm now. His skin flickered from violet to something new, a deep, angry purple. He had killed. No regret came, only a cold, sharp feeling, like waking up after long sleep. The battle raged for hours. The swarm pushed, then slowed, then pushed again. Each time the humans bled them, slowed them, broke their momentum. By afternoon, the plain was covered in dead Karvox, piles high in places. The living ones walked over bodies like stairs. Still they came. Mara's voice grew hoarse from shouting orders. She never wavered. He fired when she told him to. He reloaded when she showed him how. He dragged wounded back when she pointed. He learned fast. Night came slow and dark. Fighting did not stop. Flares went up, turning the sky red. Shadows danced long and strange. Humans used night vision, shot at glowing eyes. Karvox acid glowed, two easy targets. The swarm finally slowed. The hive mind felt the losses. It pulled back. Not retreat, just pause, to gather more to think. Mara lowered her rifle. She sat against the trench wall, breathing hard. Lyrath sat beside her. His skin glowed steady, deep purple now. Not fear anymore, something else. Mara looked at him. You still shiny, but less shiny now. Lyrath almost smiled. I killed today. Mara nodded. Welcome to the war. She offered him water from her canteen. He drank. It tasted like metal and dust. Them soldiers checked weapons, patched wounds, told dark jokes. One man lost an arm, laughed about it. Said it matched his other scars now. Lyrath listened. He felt changed. The horror of what he saw did not crush him. It sharpened him, like a blade on stone. He looked out at the dark plain. The Karvox waited out there. They would come again. Lyrath touched the sidearm. It felt right now. He thought of his old life. Mediation gardens, soft words. Those things felt far away, like a dream. Here the nightmare was real, and he stood in it. Not running, not hiding, standing. Mara stood up slow. Get some rest if you can. They will hit harder tomorrow. Lyrath nodded. He would rest. But sleep would bring dreams of chitin and fire, and laughter in the dark. He did not fear those dreams anymore. He welcomed them, because something inside him had shifted. The horror had not broken him. It had begun to build something new. After the first battle, the base felt different. Smoke still hung low over the trenches. The smell of burned chitin and blood stayed in the air for days. Humans moved slower now. Some limped. Others carried bandages like badges. Lyrath walked among them. His skin glowed steady, deep purple. The color no longer shifted wild. It held firm like a new normal. He no longer hid in the command bunker. He went to the med bay first. Wounded soldiers lay on cots, rows of them. Medics worked fast with stitches, cauterizers, and pain shots. One man, the gunner who lost his legs, sat up against pillows. He grinned when he saw Lirath. "Hey, Shiny, you made it through." Lirath approached slow. "I saw what you did. You kept firing." The man shrugged one shoulder. "Had to. Someone else would have died if I stopped." He looked down at the stumps wrapped tight. "Doc says new legs in a month. Cyber one's better then." "Old." P. Lirath's skin pulsed softer purple, curious now, not horrified. P. "Does it hurt?" "All the time," the man said, "but pain is just noise. You learn to tune it out." He laughed short. "Besides, I got a story now. Girls love a guy with battle scars." Lirath did not understand the joke fully, but he felt the strength in it. He moved on. In the mess hall, soldiers ate quick meals, protein bars and hot soup. They talked loud, told stories of the fight. One group sat around a table, passing a small hollow device. It showed family faces, kids waving, wives smiling. A soldier named Reyes stared longest. He touched the image gentle. "Not today," he whispered. Then he pocketed it and went back to joking with friends. Lirath watched from the doorway. He saw no tears, only quiet resolve. He walked over, sat at the edge of the table. "May I join?" he asked. They looked surprised, then nodded. "Sure, Shiny. Pull up a seat." Reyes pushed a ration bar toward him. "Eat, you look like you need fuel." Lirath took it, unwrapped it slow. He chewed the tough bar, tasted nothing like Vylori fruit, but it filled him. "Tell me about the scars," he said. The soldiers glanced at each other. Torres, the young private from before, spoke first. "We map them. Every wound that did not kill us gets marked." He rolled up his sleeve, showed thin lines, inked on skin. This one from shrapnel on Vega 9, this from knife on Praxis. Each tells a story. Lirath looked closer. And the laughter. Why laugh when death comes so close? Reyes leaned in, because if you don't laugh, the dark wins. We've been killing each other since we crawled out of caves. Then we took it to the stars. Laughing keeps the fear small. Lirath listened hard. His people feared death as end of light. Humans treated it as visitor they could fight off for one more day. He asked more questions. "What does it feel like to kill?" Torres answered quick. "First time cold in the gut like ice. After that it gets easier. Not good easier, just necessary. You do it to protect the person next to you." Lirath thought of the Carvox he shot, the leg buckling the fall. He felt no cold now, only the memory of purpose. Mara found him later in the armory. She cleaned her rifle with steady hands. "You asking a lot of questions, Shiny?" Lirath nodded. "I need to understand." She set the rifle down. "Understanding comes slow in war. But okay, ask." He sat across from her. "Your history, you fight each other for so long. Why?" Mara wiped oil from her fingers. "We come from a hard world. Predators, famine, disease, war. We got good at surviving by being meaner than the next thing. When the stars opened, we brought that with us. Some species think we crazy. But crazy keeps us alive." Lirath's skin held purple steady. "And the joy I see in battle." "Not joy," she said. "Relief maybe. When the fight starts, the fear goes quiet for a while. You move, you act, you live. Afterward it comes back, but during it feels clean." Lirath thought about that. His mediation felt clean too once. Now it felt distant, weak. That night an ambush came, small but fast. Carvox scouts slipped through the outer sensors. They hit a patrol on the western ridge. Alarms wailed again. Lirath ran with Mara to the line. He carried the sidearm ready. They reached the fight quick. Humans fired from cover. Carvox warriors charged silent, deadly. One scout leaped at a fallen soldier. Lirath saw the claw rise. He moved without plan, raised the weapon, aimed, fired twice. Both shots hit center mass. The Carvox jerked, fell twitching. Free, looked up at Lirath. "Thanks, Shiny." Lirath stared at the body. Green ichor pooled under it. His hands shook, only a little. Mara came up beside him. "Clean kills." She clapped his shoulder. "You saved Torres." Lirith looked at his palms. No blood guilt stain appeared. Valori Law said killer hands turned green forever. His stayed normal. Something inside broke free. He felt light. A fight ended quick. The scouts died, all of them. Humans checked bodies, dragged wounded back. Lirith helped carry Torres to medbay. The young private bled from a gash on his side. He grinned through pain. Told you, Shiny, you fight like one of us now. Lirith did not answer. He felt the change deep. Days passed. He trained with them, learned to reload faster, learned to move low, learned to watch angles. He asked more, about fear, about loss, about why they never quit. Answers came plain. Because someone has to stand. Because running ends the same. Because we choose how we go out. Lirath listened, absorbed it all. His questions grew sharper. No longer from horror. From hunger to know more. One evening he sat alone on the ridge, stars bright overhead. He touched the sidearm again. It felt part of him now. He thought of home gardens, quiet debates, long lives without scars. Those things felt small now. Not wrong, just incomplete. He had seen humans stare death down and spit in its face. He had seen them bleed and laugh. He had seen them die for each other without hesitation. Something in that called to him, pulled at the old calm center, replaced it with fire, quiet fire, steady. He stood up, walked back to the base. Mara waited at the trench line. She handed him a fresh magazine. Tomorrow, bigger push, she said. P. Scouts say the hive commits more. Lirath took the magazine, loaded it smooth. I will be ready. Mara studied him. Your glow changed. Not so jumpy anymore. Lirath looked at his arm. Deep purple, steady. I am learning. She nodded. Good. Because what comes next will test everything. Lirath looked toward the dark horizon. He felt no dread, only waiting. The horror had not left him. It lived inside now. Made him stronger. Made him human in ways his people never knew. He walked with Mara back to the lines. Soldiers nodded as he passed. Shiny no longer sounded like mockery. It sounded like name. He belonged here. In the dirt and smoke. In the fire and blood. He belonged. And for the first time in 300 cycles, Lirath felt whole. Scouts brought the worst news at midnight. The Karvox hive committed everything. No more probes, no more testing waves. The full swarm lifted from their staging zones. Millions poured toward Kalis 4 like a black tide. Orbit showed spore clouds already falling. Bio-horrors would rain soon. The Concord fleet still delayed by jump interference. No help for at least 3 days. Mara gathered everyone in the main bunker. Her voice cut through the low hum of fear. This is it, she said. They want this world. They want us gone. We hold or we die here. No fancy speeches, no promises of tomorrow, just facts. We seed the field with everything we got. We channel them into the kill zones we built. We use their own acid against them. And we fight until nothing moves. Eyes met hers. No one argued, no one ran. They nodded and went to work. Back. His skin burned steady crimson now. The color had no name in Valori tongue. It felt like fire under glass, hot, clear, unstoppable. He followed Mara to the forward lines. Soldiers worked fast in the dark. They planted jury-rigged nuclear charges deep in the ground. Small yields, just enough to crack the earth open. They rigged captured Karvox acid vats to tip over on command. The green slime would melt plasteel and flesh alike. They built new choke points with razor wire and slag piles. Every angle covered, every path deadly. Lirath helped carry the heavy vats. His long arms made the job easier. Humans joked about it. Shiny the crane strikes again. He did not smile. He focused. The first spores hit at dawn. They fell like dirty snow, glowing faint green. Where they landed, small horrors burst out. Crawling things with too many legs, venom spines, acid glands. Them up, with flamethrowers. burned patches of ground black to stop the spread. Still more fell. The main swarm appeared on the horizon. A wall of chitons stretching left to right. Endless. The ground shook from their march. Mara keyed the comm. All units stand ready. Remember the plan. Lure them in, bleed them slow, then drop the hammer. Lirath took position in the primary trench. He carried a rifle now, not just the sidearm. Mara had given it to him that morning. You earned it, Shiny. He held it steady. The swarm reached the outer fields. Mara waited. Closer, closer. Now, the first nukes went off. White flashes lit the plain. Shockwaves rolled over the trenches. Earth split open, swallowed hundreds. Chitin cracked, bodies flew. The swarm staggered, then pushed harder. Acid spitters reared up, sprayed long arcs. Humans ducked low, let the streams pass. Overhead. Some hit armor hissed, melted. Screens rose quick, then cut off. Medics pulled the wounded back. Lirath fired controlled bursts. He aimed for joints, eyes, weak spots. Each shot counted. A spore horror landed nearby, too many legs whipping. It lunged at Torres. Lirath turned, fired 3 times. The thing collapsed, twitching. Torres nodded thanks, kept shooting. The swarm reached the choke points. They funneled in tight. Humans opened with everything. Machine guns roared, cannons thundered, grenades flew. Carvox piled up dead and dying. Still more climbed over. Mara shouted. Acid traps now. Cables snapped. Vats tipped. Green rain poured down. It melted warriors alive. Kitten bubbled, dissolved. Screeches filled the air, high and terrible. The hive mind felt it, pushed anyway. Lirath saw a fire team vanish in a spore cloud. Them. Seconds later, shapes emerged, coated in gore, dripping ichor. They grinned through the pain, charged again. One man, missing half his face, kept firing. Another dragged a broken leg, used it like a club. Lirath stared, then joined them. He leaped from the trench, ran forward, rifle up. He fired into the mass. A Carvox warrior turned toward him, claws wide. Lirath rolled under the swing, came up shooting. The thing fell. He moved to the next, and the next. His skin blazed crimson, bright enough to hurt eyes. He no longer thought of peace. He thought of the line, of the humans beside him, of holding. Mara took a plasma lance through the shoulder. It burned clean through. She dropped to one knee. Blood poured. She grabbed the plasma torch from her belt, cauterized the wound herself. Smoke rose from her flesh. She stood again, kept fighting. Commanding. Voice hoarse, but strong. Hold the center, hold. Lirath reached her side. He covered her. Fired at anything that moved close. She looked at him. Eyes hard. You still here, Shiny? Lirath nodded. I am here. She grinned, blood on her teeth. Good. They fought back to back. The swarm pressed hardest at noon. Sun-high heat rose from the dead. Bodies steamed. Acid pooled in craters. Humans ran low on ammo. They switched to captured Carvox weapons. Spike launchers, acid sprayers, anything that killed. Lirath used one. The sprayer felt wrong in his hands. Then right. He aimed, swept across a wave. Green fire ate through ranks. The hive mind recoiled. For the first time it hesitated. Losses too high. Momentum broken. Mara saw it. Push now, she shouted. All units forward. Humans rose from trenches. Gaps. They screamed wordless rage. Knives, bayonets, rifles, butts. Lirath ran with them. Crimson glow lit the way. He killed close now, shot point blank, stabbed with a broken blade. Saved a soldier from a claw. Took a hit himself. Acid splash across his arm. Skin burned, hissed. He ignored it. Kept moving. The swarm broke. Pieces first, then more. Warriors turned, ran. The hive pulled back, retreated into the dust, left the field to the dead. Silence fell slow. Smoke drifted. Humans stood among the wreckage. Some cried quiet. Some laughed wild. Most just breathed. Lyrath dropped to his knees. Rifle clattered beside him. His arm throbbed. Blood mixed with ichor on his tunic. He looked at the horizon. The swarm gone. For now. Mara limped over, sat heavy beside him. She looked at his arm. You need medics. Lyrath shook his head. Later. He looked at her. We won. She nodded slow. This round, more will come, but today we won. Lyrath's skin stayed crimson. No flicker, no fade. He felt the horror still. It lived in him now. But it no longer scared him. It fueled him, made him sharp, made him stay. He stood up slow, helped Mara stand. They walked back to the lines. Soldiers clapped his back, called him by name now. Not just Shiny. Lyrath, one of us. He felt it true. The old envoy gone, the mediator buried under ash and blood. Something new stood in his place, forged in the crucible, tested in fire, ready. The galaxy would see the Valori different now, because one of them had changed. Because battle had not destroyed him. It had remade him into something stronger, human. The silence after the swarm broke felt heavier than the fighting. Smoke rose slow from the cracked plain. Bodies lay everywhere, Carvox and human, mixed in twisted piles. The air smelled of burned flesh, acid, and hot metal. Lyrath stood in the middle of it all. His tunic hung in rags, soaked dark with blood and ichor. His arm throbbed where acid had eaten skin. He did not feel the pain sharp anymore. It blended into everything else, a dull fire that kept him awake, kept him standing. Humans moved through the wreckage. Some checked for life among their own. Some gathered weapons from the dead. Some sat quiet, staring at nothing. Mara limped from the command post, her shoulder wrapped tight, fresh bandage already spotting red. She saw Lyrath and walked over slow. She stopped in front of him, looked him up and down. You still glow crimson, Shiny. Lyrath met her eyes. It will not fade. Mara nodded once. Good. Because the galaxy just saw what happens when Valori stop talking and start shooting. She clapped his good shoulder light this time. Come with me. They walked together past smoking craters. Past soldiers who nodded silent respect as they passed. Past Met teams, loading stretchers. The base looked broken. Walls cracked, trenches collapsed, towers leaning. Yet humans already started repairs. Welders sparked in the distance. Cranes lifted debris. Life pushed forward. They reached a small rise overlooking the main field. Mara sat on a broken slab of plasteel. Lyrath sat beside her. For a long time, neither spoke. The sun climbed higher, burned away morning haze. Finally, Mara broke the quiet. They ran. The hive mind felt something it could not eat. Something that fought back harder than it hurt. Horizon. Empty now. No more black tide. Only smoke and silence. I killed many today, he said, voice low. Mara shrugged. We all did. Necessary. Lyrath touched the rifle still slung across his back. It felt heavy, familiar. No guilt came with the touch. No green stain on his hands. Only the crimson glow steady under his skin. I thought battle would destroy me, he said. I thought the horror would swallow the light I carried. Mara looked at him sideways. Did it? Lyrath shook his head slow. No. It burned away the old shell, left something harder underneath. Something that does not break. Mara gave a small smile. Welcome to the club, then. You still look like a diplomat, but you fight like one of us. Lyrath almost smiled back. The expression felt strange, new, yet right. Around them soldiers gathered in small groups, shared water, passed stories. One man played soft music from a cracked device, a slow song with strings and quiet drums. It sounded tired, but alive. Torres limped up, bandage around his middle. He grinned wide. "Hey, Shiny, you made it." Lyrath nodded. "We all made it." Torres laughed rough. "Some of us in pieces, but yeah." He sat down careful, looked out at the field. "Never thought I'd see a Valori charge with us." Lyrath looked at him. "I never thought I would either." Torres clapped his arm gentle. "You saved my hide twice now. Debt owed." Lyrath shook his head. "No debt. We stood together. That is all." Torres nodded, serious for once. "Yeah, that is all." He stood up slow. "Gotta help with the wounded. See you around, Shiny." He walked away. Lyrath watched him go, then turned back to Mara. "What happens now?" he asked. Mara leaned back. "Rebuild. We wait for the fleet. We prepare for the next swarm if it comes. And we tell the Concord what happened here." Lyrath's skin pulsed brighter crimson for a moment. "They will not believe it at first. Valori do not fight. They mediate." Mara snorted. "They will believe when they see you walk off the transport, glowing like a warning light, carrying a rifle instead of a datapad." Lyrath looked down at his hands. They carried death now, and life, both at once. He felt no conflict, only balance. A new kind, the kind forged in fire. Evening came slow. Stars appeared one by one. Humans lit small fires, cooked what rations remained. Shared stories louder now. Laughter mixed with the crackle of flames. Lyrath sat near one group, listened. They spoke of home, of people waiting, of reasons to keep going. One soldier showed a hollow of a child, small face smiling. Said her name quiet, like prayer. Lyrath listened close, felt something warm under the crimson. Not soft peace, but fierce purpose. The kind that guards, that protects, that stands. Later he walked alone to the edge of the field, stood among the dead, looked at the stars. He thought of home, gardens under moons, quiet halls, long lives without scars. Those things still lived in him, but smaller now, part of a bigger picture. The galaxy needed mediators. It also needed warriors. It needed those who could speak, and those who could make sure the words were heard. He would be both, no longer one or the other, but whole. He turned back, saw Mara waiting near the fire. She raised a hand. "Come eat, Shiny. Food is hot." Lyrath walked over, sat among them, took the offered bowl, ate, slow, tasted the simple meal, felt the warmth spread. Soldiers talked around him, included him, no longer outsider, no longer Shiny alone. Lyrath, brother in arms. He looked at the flames, saw his reflection in them. Crimson glow bright, eyes steady, face changed, not softer, not harder, just true. The horror of battle had come. It had torn him open. It had remade him, piece by bloody piece. And when it finished, he stood taller, stronger, ready, not for peace alone, but for whatever came next. The swarm might return, the galaxy might tremble, but Kalis 4 held, because humans held, because one Valori joined them and learned their truth, that sometimes the only way to keep light alive is to fight in the dark, with teeth bared, with fire in the blood. He looked up at the stars again. Fear. Only calm. The calm that comes after storm. The calm that knows it can face another. Mara leaned close. "You okay?" Lyrath nodded. "Better than okay." She smiled real this time. "Good, because tomorrow we start again." Lyrath looked at her, then at the humans around the fire, then at the quiet field beyond. Tomorrow waited, and he would meet it, not as envoy, not as stranger, but as one who had been transformed. By the horror, by the battle, by the humans he had joined, and in joining, found himself complete.